I'm Lily.
And I'm Jordan.
And we're the Drakes.
Welcome to Drake Academy. On this week's episode, I am back from my week absence. I got very sick last week and it was not a fun time, but I was able to get better in time for MagicCon, which was really cool. So I was able to still make it out. But yeah, I'm back. So on this week's episode, we're going to start with a unboxing. We were sent these cards, a Strixhaven collector booster box. So we're going to open a few of the cards on camera here. We don't have a great setup for it, but we're just going to kind of wing it. Before we'll transition into our main topic today, which is going to be the do's and don'ts of table talk. Lily and I will walk you through basically how to make your table talk a little bit better. This is kind of a politicking tool, but it isn't just politics. It's a little bit of just things that you can do to be friendlier and to kind of get people on your side. If you ever think of that old Andrew Carnegie book, which is, it's like Make Friends or How to Make Friends or something like that. And I don't know. I've read the book before. It's been a while. And obviously I can't remember the title, but basically same kind of concepts. Before we'll transition into our normal stuff, we'll talk about we'll talk a little bit about MagicCon, I think, towards the meta discussion, but, we still want to answer our questions first. But we did want to leave a little bit of space to talk about our experience as well. But we do need to do this unboxing. So, yeah, with all that being said, let's get away from our sponsors. First up, we have the Lango Invitational Expo. So this is going to be a really cool event hosted by, of course, the great people at Lango. Wayne, this is kind of the culmination of his big invitational series, the Black Lotus series that's been going on all year long. We'll also kind of have like a convention atmosphere. There's an open to play in. There's a bunch of other side events. As someone who played in it last year, it was a ton of fun. Had a great time with it. So really expecting this to be another really awesome event. We're really looking forward to it. And really what's cool is we had a bunch of the players from our team, Monolith, make it over. So I think there's like 10 of us. Like we had quite a few. So it should be a really cool event. If you did not make the invitational, please register for the open using the link below. It does help support the team, but also we just want you guys to be out there. This expo is really, really cool. It's very convention-like atmosphere. Lots of vendors. I think Winona was there last year to sign my Timna, which was really cool. She was there at the Boil 3. So if you've missed her a few times, I think she's supposed to be at this event. Don't quote me on that, but I do know that it'll be very convention-like atmosphere. So definitely come out. It'll be pretty awesome. Next up, then, we'll have the Summer Classic 3 on July 18th and 19th in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Again, another very convention-style prizing. I know that they're giving away a Time Twister to first place, which should be really awesome, up to $15K in prizing. Really cool. The convention itself is free to attend, and then I'm not sure what the buy-in was for the Summer Classic 3. I think it was like $100. We'll double check that and we'll put it on the screen for you guys. But should be another really cool event out there in Minnesota. So if you're in that area, in that region, or feel like traveling up to Minnesota for a pretty awesome event, definitely sign up. We have also the Decatur Deathmatch. June 6th will be in Decatur, Illinois again. So this will be the second iteration of this event. $110 entry, up to $20K in prizes, always proxy friendly. This event ran really smoothly last time, and I think a lot of people in that region are really looking forward to the second version of it. So should be pretty awesome. And then we have the Family Jewels Foil Intuition In It to Win It CEDH tournament. So giving away an awesome foil intuition, a pretty nice chase card. This will be June 27th, opening starting at 9 a.m. Also in Minnesota. So a bunch of really cool Minnesota events coming up. Really great to be in that region right now. We also have the Horizon, which will be June 20th at Animal House Cards, one of our awesome sponsors. This will be in South Carolina. So definitely check this out. $75 entry. Should be a pretty awesome tournament. I think this will be, this is going to kick off their series that they're doing. Should be pretty awesome. So definitely come out for it. And then lastly, we have Mana in the Bank 2 Melee. This will be July 25th, 26th, which will be in Glen Allen, Virginia. So should be pretty awesome. This is run by our buddy Chris, who has run some pretty cool events. Should be pretty awesome. This is done by Final Fortune Gaming. So admission, again, $100. And then they have the sick playmat. Look like they took like Super Smash Bros. and made a playmat out of it. So nice. Really, really cool. Should be really awesome event. Pretty excited for this one as well. And definitely look forward to seeing people here. And of course, like always, we are sponsored by Heavy Play. Go to heavyplay.com/monolith or use code monolith when checking out for 10% off your order. This does help support the team, so we really appreciate it. I can tell you guys that the Monolith product the Heavy Play product is some of the best on the market. I love their deck boxes. It has become easily my favorite deck box. I really just love the whole system. Being able to attach all my stuff together and carry it around has been super, super convenient, and I will never switch back ever in a million years. So definitely try it out for yourselves. I really can't say enough good things about it. All right, so now that we've talked to our sponsors, we are going to open up with unboxing this collector booster. So this was sent to us by our sponsor, Animal House, out in South Carolina, the local game store that you guys have probably seen on this channel a bunch of times. They were super nice and kind enough to send us our very own collector box. So our plan here is to open this up, show off a few packs. Probably won't open up the whole thing just because I think that'd be kind of boring. And we don't have a great setup for this, so we'll try our best to showcase this. Also going to give away a couple of these packs. So if you go to our Discord, enter your name into the giveaway section if you've seen that. And then we will randomly select a couple people and send a couple packs their way. So thank you guys again for all your support. And this is just our small way we can give back. So, all right, Lily, I guess we can open this up. I probably should have.
Yeah. I'm really excited for this unboxing. I hope we pull something cool.
We probably won't.
With our luck, we probably won't.
Lily and I have really awful luck when it comes to box pulls. That's why we don't actually open a lot of boxes, because our pull rate is terrible, like legitimately bad.
It really is.
I think the last time we bought a collector box, we got like $100 back. It was
pretty bad.
It was super bad. So, yeah, I guess first packs.
Oh, this sounds so crinkly.
I wonder if the mics are actually picking up how crinkly this is.
ASMR, open packs with Jordan and I.
All right, so we got Cost of Brilliance, Noxious Newt, Ancestral Anger, Paradox Engines. All right, we're not going to read all these off. We're just going to tell you if I got anything cool. I don't know what this is. We got this guy. I never know what these silver scrolls are. We got what is this? Foil Full Art of Braid.
Nice.
We got an Island. Conciliators, Duelist, Lattice Library. Hold on, what is that? No. Oh, yeah, Shattered Sanctum. Got a foil Shatter Sanctum.
Oh, that's cool.
I don't really know what the rest of this is.
I'm unsure what this card is.
What is it? Yeah, I go fish.
Yeah.
Sylvan Library.
And then my rare was a Deflecting Palm.
It's not bad. You know, there's a lot of rares in the collector's packs, though.
My cool rare, then.
All right, let's do another one here. Yeah, not good first packs.
No.
Shocker.
Shocker. Jordan and I continue to have bad luck.
Wow, this just had the exact same, 5 cards to start the pack. All right. Silver Scroll, whatever this red one is. It's mono or red. Yeah, I don't know. Duty Beyond Death. Flashy foil. Petrified Hamlet. Turbulent Wilderness. Ooh, we got something silver foil.
Oh, that's nice.
I don't know what this is. Probably nothing good, knowing my luck. But we got this guy. Wow, this is really bad. Really blurry. Oh. Yep, so we got this guy on the silver foil.
That's really pretty.
The red. I really wonder what this is.
Me too. I need to look it up after the episode.
We'll put it up on screen probably with what it should be so that you guys know before we know.
I got this card.
What is it?
Once again, unsure of what it is, but the art is really sick.
What is it?
If you can see it through the glare.
No, it's not good.
No, probably not.
No, because I pulled that one in one of the other collector packs that was given to me.
Nice.
Nothing good though?
No.
All right. So far, we have mostly struck out, unless this blue-red card turns out to be valuable. The funny thing is, I pulled a silver foil at MagicCon.
Pull from the back. The back is where it's at.
For MagicCon, it was premium weekend, and we got 3 Strixhaven collector packs, and I pulled one of the silver foils, and it was $5. It was not worth anything.
You did get a cool brain freeze.
I did get a cool brain freeze. I got the foil full art brain freeze.
You didn't completely strike out.
Mostly struck out though. It was pretty booty cheeks. All right, let's see here.
Okay, I got a culling the week.
Oh, nice, nice.
Foil culling the week. Okay, this is pretty sick.
Is it?
It is in English, but
It's not the cat one.
no, it's not the cat one. I would be freaking out if it was the cat one.
I got Quandrix, the proof foil. So one of the legendary dragons. So it's not bad. Not
No.
bad little pool. Nothing else was good in this pack.
Yeah.
I don't think. Molten Core Maestro.
Yeah, the culling the week is easily the best card in here.
I'm getting some cool foil, full arts. Full art lands.
I wish this was the
Full art
cat.
basics. Yeah, I know.
I really wish this was the cat.
All right, how many more packs we got left?
Let's see.
We got 3 packs. Oh, no, we got 4 packs. And then these 2 we're going to keep
Okay,
for the giveaway.
cool.
So put that off to the side.
These 2 are our giveaway packs.
Watch. Knowing our luck, those will be the Force of Will.
Yeah, this is where the ad nause is.
Think people are going to judge the way we open packs? 'Cause our
Probably.
teeth,
We do bite them like animals,
like heathens.
like heathens.
All right. This isn't good either. Jesus. Oh, I got a foil Expedition Tide Collar. There you go. That's not bad.
I got a silver skull.
What is it?
Unsure. Nothing I recognize off rip.
Double
What?
red.
It's really pretty.
Oh, I got a foil full art flashback.
Nice.
There you go. You guys can kind of see it.
Got a culling writ.
Is it foil?
It's not foil,
That's very disappointing.
but it is full art and it is cool.
I don't know what this will be. Not good. This is another not good pack. Like you guys, I can already tell you. Oof. All right. I guess we got a foil full art Adrix and Nev Twin Casters. That was the decent pull out of this pack, I think. Not good.
This is so ironic. I got an Angel's Grace.
That's fine.
I actually hate that. And then I have, was it three Japanese cards? No clue what they are.
Are any of them silver?
Don't recognize the art off rip.
Oh wait, that one's silver.
It is silver. I don't know what it is. So, we have her.
Wait, what is this? Okay.
If I knew.
This has got to be so this has got to be one of the suspend cards because it doesn't have a mana cost.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
what
the
is it?
suspend cost is down there.
What is suspend for 2 and a black? 2 and 2
Unsure.
black. Oh.
I really wanted the silver skull ad nauseum though.
Yeah, it's probably in there.
Probably.
If you win the giveaway, please tell us what you got so that we
Yeah, if these are the 2 best packs and we're giving them away, let us know.
yeah, that would be funny. All right, yeah, not super great, but not super bad either.
I mean, we have some decent CEDH staples in here, even if they're not all foil, right?
Yeah. I mean, the silvers, we pulled a couple silver scrolls too. Usually we don't even pull any.
This is true.
Obviously not any of the big ones.
No.
At least I think. I don't know.
No cats, which is really sad for me.
No cats. I mean, you already have the Cyclonic Rift. Don't be greedy.
Yeah, but I needed the other one.
2D Beyond Death. Yeah. So, yeah, sorry we don't have a great setup for showing these off, but honestly, yeah. You guys didn't miss much anyway, I'm being honest. That is our luck with boxes.
Sounds about right. Still super grateful for the box.
Yes, thank you to Animal House for sending this to us and letting us show this off on camera. Really awesome of them. Guys, if you need your Magic product, definitely check out them in the link below. They have their TCG player link. And, great store, so definitely shop there if you need anything. All right, well, we'll get this cleaned up, and then we can jump into our main topic for today, which is the do's and don'ts of Table Talk. So for our main topic today, we are going to be doing the do's and don'ts of Table Talk. And so Table Talk being such an important part of CEDH, the fact that we have to, communicate with our opponents in a way that you don't have to in 60 card. Like if I never wanted to speak to my opponent in 60 card, I could easily do it, or 40 card even, right? I could just go, I can point and grunt, and that basically is everything I need to do. And actually, The one time I was trying to be friendly with someone in 60 card, I got glared at. So those standard players were not messing around. But anyway, in CEDH, we do have to politic, right? There's an element of kind of like that poker style bluffing and discussion and kind of reading your opponents and trying to get an understanding of what they're doing because there's 3 players. And so there's a little bit of influence that happens at the table. So table talk is very, very crucial and important. I know some players say, I don't want to politic, I don't want to table talk, but I do feel like it's a skill that you at least have to acknowledge to some degree, no matter if you're the turboist of turbo decks, you at least still want to be able to have those discussions. So our first do that we're going to put up there is be friendly. You think this would be obvious. It's really not, though, for some reason, because for a lot of players, I think either because we're all just autistic as fuck, or, I don't know what it is.
You can't say that.
I'm saying it. But I do see sometimes players give like a very cold reception or very chilly when they sit down, don't really want to talk, kind of standoffish. And I don't think that there's necessarily anything wrong with that, but I do think opening up, being friendly, you don't have to like play it up, right? Like you don't have to ham it up, but I think being friendly, showing like, hey, I'm relaxed. I'm just here to have fun and I'm here to have a good time. I don't necessarily care about the results, like kind of just being loose with your demeanor. I think really helps put the pot at ease, and I think it does help like lend some credence to your discussions, right? Like if you're just the person that's relaxed and making arguments, kind of becomes a little bit more of like a less emotionally charged. Because I do feel like that's where players get themselves in trouble is they come in a bad mood because they've either had a couple bad rounds or whatever the reason is, right? They're dealing with personal stuff, and then they start letting it affect their play and the way they talk to people. And then if you come off very unfriendly, I don't want to make deals with you. Right. I don't want to like listen to what you have to say. But if you're coming friendly into the pod, you're talking, you're having a, you don't necessarily have to like overact it, right? Be you, just don't be a dick. I don't know,
Point 1, don't be a dick. Jordan Drake, 2026.
Well, but I've had those experiences, right? Where you sit down and somebody in your pod is almost giving you the death stare and you're like, I'm sorry, you're 0-2. I'm also 0-2. Like, let's just do, like, we're all here together. Yeah. Right? But then they're very unfriendly and the whole pod just feels uncomfortable. But also, it's not just at the beginning, right? It's even during games. If you feel like things are going your way or not your way, and it can be frustrating. And it's hard to sometimes keep sight of like, hey, we're here to have fun. And trying to maintain that friendly demeanor can drop really fast when you feel like things have gone wrong. And I'm even guilty of this, right? Like I've had plenty of games where I'm frustrated and that frustration is starting to show through. And I feel like as long as you're like trying to be friendly, it's easier to keep the frustration down because it's like, whatever. Like I'm having fun. It's a game. Yeah. It's tough though. It can be very tough.
Yeah. I mean, I think it also, like a lot of the things we talk about, being too unfriendly in games kind of follows you and it hurts your deal-making credibility later. Like, I have seen people that have been talked down to in games or just had people be rude to them in games, go in Discord servers and name drop these people and say, yeah, blank was a fucking asshole to me, and then it gets to their friend circle and their friend circle goes to another friend circle. And before you know it, it's like 20 plus people who won't make a deal with you because you were an asshole to one person in one game.
I know of people who have spite played people just because they were mean to their friends. Yeah. Right? So like a bad reputation will follow you. And even if you're just having like a rough day and you're taking out on the people in your pod, like that's going to follow you. I know that there's a lot of discussion right now in CEDH about like lying and whether it's good or not to do it, but I really believe all this stuff follows you, right? Like it just, it does. Your reputation, even a misinterpretation of things can still destroy your reputation, right? Like it's very easy in this community to get on people's bad sides. And I think, you just have to be really careful about how you approach things and always try to strive to be like that friendly figure at the table, even when it's tough, especially when it's tough, because I think allowing your emotions and your frustration to come out in a negative way is just, it's not going to help, which I think does lead us into our first don't. Do you want to do our first don't?
Yeah. So our first don't is don't crash out. So I feel like this is another one that just kind of goes without saying, right? So
you would think
it's kind of the other side of the coin to be friendly, which we kind of did that unintentionally, but kind of along the same line of thought, first and foremost, crashing out isn't going to get you anywhere, right? Either somebody is going to match your energy, which we don't recommend doing, but it happens. So somebody's going to match your energy, and then you have two crash outs at the table and two other innocent bystanders who are just sitting there like, I don't know what to do with this. I'm just going to counter the spell and move on with my day,
Yep.
And that doesn't help the board state, right? It doesn't help you get anywhere politically. If you are yelling at somebody to let your spell resolve, 9 times out of 10, they're not going to let the thing resolve. Not even because you're correct or incorrect at that point. I feel like if you're to the point of crashing out, somebody else is just going to feel like they have to stand on business and just say, no, you're crashing out on me. This gets countered regardless of if you're right or not. I'll lose the game just because you're crashing out on me.
Oh, yeah.
And it's another thing that follows you, right? Like if you...
Getting known as a crash out?
Yeah. If you get known as a crash out, like that's just your reputation.
Yeah. Again, we know these games can be emotionally charged. And what we're kind of trying to say here is you have to kind of keep it under wraps, right? You have to keep the lid on it. Can't explode, no matter how frustrating the game can be. And I get it, right? Like there's plenty of games where I've wanted to reach across this table and strangle someone sometimes because I feel like they're just...
Allegedly,
yes. Because it just feels like they're making all the wrong decisions or it feels like you're being targeted down while you're watching someone else actively winning. And it's a very frustrating experience, right? Like I've talked a lot about how Bowmasters...
I was going to say Jordan conspiring to strangle every Bowmasters player, allegedly.
But the reality is, right, is you can't let yourself be in that emotional state. You just can't, right? Either there's plenty of rounds that still need to be played. There's plenty more Magic to be played, even if it's at a future event. You can't let your emotions get the best of you and cause you to make and do things that hurt your character, that show really bad character. And you don't want to get that reputation in this community because, again, people just won't want to play with you. I would say the worst thing that you can do in this community is be known as a player that is miserable to play with. Whatever the reasoning is, right? I mean, outside of literally, it's like, oh, they always win because they're so good. That's like the only one you want. Everything else is just bad. And there are plenty of players that I know of that are very, very talented, very good players who have a reputation of they're miserable to play with, not because they're so good, but because they do some of the things that we're talking about here, right? They crash out when things aren't going their way. And, some of these other don'ts that we'll talk about. And we don't want you guys to be those kind of players. We want you to be emotionally mature, be able to handle the things that get thrown your way during games, keep that friendly demeanor like we were just talking about, and not let yourself have these emotional outbursts that ruin your time in the game because it is going to hurt your in-game decisions, right? Again, like Lily said, I've watched players counter other players who get emotional about things because they weren't able to create a cohesive argument that made sense. They just kind of blew up emotionally and said, you're targeting me. And the other player went, no, I feel like this is the right play for me. And instead of making an appeal that's like, hey, I'm going to craft an argument that actually is persuasive to get you to change your mind, they just explode.
Yeah.
And, you look like a big baby.
Yeah.
So we don't want that for you guys. We want you guys to be able to articulate really good responses and ultimately come away from games having enjoyed it, right? Because if someone's crashing out in the game, it's also not an enjoyable experience for anybody. And if two people are crashing out, like Lily said, it's uncomfortable. It is legitimately uncomfortable. I've had to be in those games before where I've watched two players just like at each other's throats, and I'm sitting there like, okay.
I don't want to be here right now.
Well, it's like I've had to call judge before.
Yeah.
Because I've watched two players just like, it was actually one player was mostly going after the other, and the other player finally just like cracked under it all.
Yeah.
And started snapping back, and I was like, whoop, all right, let's go ahead and get judge over here because this is getting nasty real quick because they, they started raising their voices at each other. And tempers were starting to flare, and I'm sitting there trying to just win with Najila still. And I'm watching this nonsense play out, and I'm like, all right, guys.
I just want to turn sideways.
I'm infinite here. Can I just finish what I'm doing? Like, come on. Y'all don't need to argue. It's already over.
Guys, I'm winning. Why are you yelling?
Well, because they were yelling because one guy was pissed off at the other guy for allowing it to happen, which, the dude had made a mistake, hadn't countered something he probably should have countered. Didn't think about, the green tutor I was going to go get Derevi. and the other player was pissed off about it, like, oh, you got to counterspell the whole time, and the other guy was like, well, you never said anything, and like there was just lack of communication, right? Which happens.
Yeah.
But you can't. Again, it's an emotional moment, right? Losing sucks, but you can't allow your emotions to then dictate a bad response.
Right. I mean, yelling at him isn't going to counter the spell.
Right.
Like the spell's already done.
It's just like, oh shit. Well, we probably should have talked about it. It's both their faults at the end of the day, right? Like, a discussion should have happened. It didn't happen. Move on.
Yeah.
You know, learn from it, grow from it. Don't let it dictate who you are to that person, right? Because now that guy that was getting screamed at is always going to hate that dude. I would be shocked if they ever made up about it.
Yeah.
So, and especially if that's someone in your local area, now it's just uncomfortable games forever. And don't get me wrong, I have players that I know don't like me, and I don't have great feelings for either in my local area. And do our games get uncomfortable because of it? I'd like to think not, but I'm sure that they are a little bit.
Probably.
For both of us, right?
Yeah.
Like I see certain players and I'm like, I roll my eyes in the back of my head because I don't want to play against them because they've created miserable experiences for me.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, Lily, you've...
Oh, yeah. I've been crashed out on.
Yeah, you have.
I've been crashed out on.
True.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think this really is a good segue into our second do, which is build deals from the board state, build arguments from the board state, which I'm sure you've heard us talk about on this channel a bunch. The best way that I have found in my experience to make an argument, because it's really hard to argue back against, the board state is the best place to make arguments from, though. It's very hard to argue back against it because it's not emotional, right? There's no, like, yeah, we can argue semantics over it, but like, I think we all know what a good board state looks like. We all know what cards are dangerous on boards. And it's very hard to, like, if I'm sitting there on a Smothering Tithe with 10 treasures and a Thrasios and a Biofam, it's very hard for me to turn around and argue I don't have a strong board state.
Right.
Right. Now, if I'm looking at this, but someone else is sitting on triple Ristic Study, well, then I can argue I don't have a great board state because he's got triple Ristic and he's, you know, he doesn't have to devote any resources to drawing cards. It's just he's going to do it.
Right.
Right. So when you build out craft these arguments from the board state, I think it's just a lot easier to convince people that you're correct in your assessment. As long as your assessment is also correct, right? It's one thing we didn't write into these do's and don'ts, but should kind of go without saying is, you know, make sure your assessments are correct. If your assessment is completely wrong all the time, you're going to lose trust very quickly. So make sure, you know, when you're making these arguments that your assessment is correct, even if it's to the best of your knowledge, right? Like sometimes it's like, hey, this is what I think is going on. I'm not sure because I don't know what's in their hand, but like, this is what I'm kind of seeing based on my experiences. And then kind of let the discussion build out from there. I don't think that you need to necessarily like hammer in on these things. Right? You don't have to like hammer the person over the head with it, which we'll talk about here in a minute. But I do think you want to at least have an argument that stems right from that board state saying, hey, I'm going to start every argument this way. You don't want to make emotional appeals. You want everything to be this kind of, hey, this is what I'm saying. Are you guys seeing it the same way? Because it's very hard to argue it against it in a way that emotional appeals are very easy to kind of push to the side. Like, hey, don't target my dork. Like, I'm going to be out of the game. Cool, I don't care. I want you out of the game. Right. But instead make an argument that's like, hey, if I'm out of the game, I'm not going to be able to use these counter spells. Like, can you counter this person by yourself? And if he goes,
yeah.
You know.
I think a good one is instead of saying, well, I'm just not going to interact all game. Somebody else can just win the game. I don't care. Because like we'll hear that a lot, right? When something gets targeted, like a ballistics, especially engines like ballistic studies.
Right.
I don't care. Somebody else can win the game then. And then they'll, you know, throw their cards down, set their cards down, and just kind of like not quite crash out.
Like a mini crash out?
Yeah, like a mini crash out. Because, you know, they clearly tutored for the engine. They're pissed off about it. But instead, you know, kind of do what you were suggesting and say just like, hey, I have these, you know. These are online with XYZ engine. I mean, I do that all the time with Malcolm. Like, hey, don't kill Malcolm. Here's a fierce. And usually, like, at least 50% of the time, that's good enough. So instead of, like, don't target my thing, it's just like, hey, here's a reason not to target my thing.
Right. And it also can give you some information, too, because if you're like, hey, like, I've got this, like, I don't want my commander to die, and they go, no, I still want to kill your commander. You're like, oh, okay, cool, then you want to push. Right? Like, that's a very telltale sign of, like, hey, guys, just so you know, I show them a piece of counter magic and they want to kill me anyway, which means that they have every intention of trying to win on their turn. More than likely. Because then why else would you get rid of the counter magic?
Exactly.
Right? So there's definitely some discussion that can go on there. And I think it's a good way to like, I just feel like it's very hard to argue back.
Yeah.
Right? Like unless your assessment is just completely off the wall, what are you going to do?
Right.
Right? Like
Gaslight.
I mean, you can try, but it's very hard when someone's pointing at you and going like, look, they've got 2 heuristic studies and 35 cards in hand. I've got 3 cards and a dork. It's very hard to turn around and be like, oh, well, you know, they're scary too. Like how? Tell me how. It just isn't something that I think works. It's something we've talked about on this channel a lot. And it's because I feel very strongly that that's the best way to argue in this format.
Right.
So moving on to the second don't.
Yeah, so our second don't is don't argue over everything in game. And I think this discussion can happen in a couple of ways. The first example that I think of is when somebody puts something on the stack or even just goes to combat, right? Like we frequently see this with Timna strategies where someone gets, you know, a Timna and another person gets a Crom and someone says, whoa, don't swing Crom at me. I don't use my life total. Okay, then take the damage if you don't use your life total, you know, unless somebody's actively missing that there's an ad nauseum player and they're just blanking out that fact for some reason, don't know it's an ad nause necro deck, whatever. But for the most part, if you're saying I don't use my life total, okay, then take the Crom hit, right? Like there's no need to argue over that. Or same with Bowmaster pings, when people do start hitting face or pinging down creatures, and then every single Bowmaster ping becomes a discussion.
Right.
And it becomes an argument. And I feel like it's because a lot of the times CEDH players have a tendency to want to win every politicking point, right? They want to feel like they are well on their way to winning the game, and winning the game means winning the political discussion. And so that means, well, I have to have the Bowmaster player on my side. They can't ping me and I can't take too much combat damage, and just every single thing becomes this huge discussion point. And I feel like that's where a lot of people kind of don't know how to navigate when it becomes almost over yapping, and those political discussions become difficult for people to navigate. Because what do you do when somebody's arguing over every piece of combat damage, right? That can be overwhelming, especially if you aren't familiar with tournament play or, you know, seen a lot of political discussions.
I've joked before in a pod with an overyapper. I was like, you should just hit him because he keeps talking. And I had the person agree. He's like, yeah, you know what? You're right. And
that happens, right?
Yeah, well, it gets annoying. So here's the thing, right? You only have so much political capital. Like, I think there's only so much goodwill that exists at a table before it's like, hey, you've used it all up. Like, I don't want to be argued over every single damn decision in this game.
Yeah.
But there are players who have made it their strategy to argue over every little thing. And I think the idea is like, kind of goes back to some psychology where it's like, the more I get you to say yes, the more likely you are to say yes to more that I want to do. So if I get you to say yes to a bunch of little Bowmaster things, then I can get you to say yes to like letting my green tutor for 5 go through, because we do need a Seedborn to help the table. Or like, I can land the second heuristic study and you don't need to fight over it. You know, like, I think that's the idea. At least that's my working theory, because otherwise I have no idea.
I think it's some of that, and I think it's some of those players just want to wear down the other players at the table. They don't care if they get to the yes. They want other people to have so much decision fatigue and politicking fatigue that they're like, I feasibly cannot think about this board state anymore. I don't give a damn if you're yapping at me. Sure, I'll do the thing you're saying just because it's being said to me.
It's like almost like they just want you to shut up so they'll do it.
Yeah, like I have so much decision fatigue in game. I'm just going to listen to what's being talked at me and not what the optimal decision is, because I've been worn down so much by all of this over politicking.
Yeah, it can be an effective strategy. So it might seem weird to us that we have it in the don't, but I think it creates very miserable games for players. I don't think it's a very strong long-term strategy.
It's not a winning strategy either.
It's a drawing strategy.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you draw a lot because of it.
Exactly.
I also just think in the long term, it creates really bad will. And I think, again, reputation is a lot in this community, and your reputation takes dings every time you kind of stoop to, I wouldn't say it's like scummy behavior, but it's definitely towing the line.
It is. It is.
I mean, I know people who yap even like when people are trying to win. Like, they're right in the middle of their win line and they'll still be yapping at them.
Yeah.
And it'll be like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, I am clearly actively winning.
Yeah.
You talking at this point is just trying to distract me, and it's kind of BS. Like, shut up. Let me do my thing.
Yeah, there has to be a certain level of being able to just tune players out and do your own thing after a certain point.
Yeah.
Especially when, there you get these 20 spell stack battles, and then they try to dominate the stack battle and say, well, your mind break trap needs to go here and it needs to exile this, and this, but don't exile my stuff. They just start debating over every spell on the stack now. Like it gets tiresome.
It does. And you don't want to be one of those players. I've literally seen this happen to where the players that talk too much draw games because they can't get through a game fast enough. I think a lot of times you have to kind of accept like, hey, I want to pick my fights. I want to pick where I want to use my political goodwill and my capital. And that's where I want to kind of do that discussion, right? Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with throwing out an argument. Like, hey, if someone puts a bowmaster damage, you'd be like, hey, I don't use my life total. You probably want to target something else or someone else. And they go, okay, cool. But it's like the constant revolving like, well, I think I still want to ping you. And you go, well, you really shouldn't. Like, you should target somebody else. And it's like, oh, well, I still think it's the right choice. And then you're still arguing. Again, not everything has to be an argument. If you feel like you need to make a point, make your point, move on. Right? Be very clear with it and just do what you're going to do. So it's actually a perfect segue into our third do, which is be clear and concise, right?
Yes.
There is nothing in this game that creates more drama, more feels bad situations than a very unclear political discussion. And I'm even guilty of this as well. Actually, it just happened to me at Misplay where I felt like in game one, some stuff was said that maybe wasn't said, and it created a really bad feeling in my mouth after the game was over because I felt like I'd been misled.
Yeah.
Even thinking back, a lot of it was very muddied, which is why being clear and concise matters, right? Because that means that when you're clear with everything that you're doing, when it's like, hey, there's no hidden loopholes here, we've cleared up everything. We don't really need to like have a big drawn out argument about it. We both know what we're saying. Are we cool with what we're both saying? Like, are you going to scum me out? Like, or is that what's happening here?
Yeah.
Right. You don't need to have this long 30-minute discussion on things. Be concise with your argument. Be very clear about what you want and what you want out of it, and be brief about it, right? You don't want to drag the time on forever because you still need to find windows to win. And if you drag the time on too long, you're going to lose those windows and you're going to end up drawing a lot more often. So the difference is that you have to then now make sure that your arguments are very clear, very much like, hey, I know exactly what I want. This is what I want. There's no room for wiggle. There's no like, hey, maybe you meant this or that. Don't leave anything open for interpretation. Be very clear about what you want. And even that even means like when you're doing your table talk, right? Like when you're pointing out a threat, be very clear and concise with who the threat is, right? You don't need to sit there and bang them over the head with like, oh, well, let's say you're playing against a T&K play, right? And he's got Ristic and Tithe. And he's drawn a bunch of cards and it's about to go into his turn. You don't need to sit there and bang him over the head and be like, look, guys, we got to hold up interaction. Like, make your argument once. Like, hey, there's a Tithe, there's a Ristic. We should be very careful about how this turn is going to play out. I think we all need to hold up interaction going into that turn.
Yeah.
Right? But you don't need to say it every single time.
Right.
It doesn't have to be a constant argument. It just needs to be one time, clearly, concisely, make sure everyone's on the same page, move on with your day.
Because then the question becomes, why are they deflecting onto Blue Farm so much?
Right.
What do they have going on that they want me to only look at the Ristic and the Tithe? Which is objectively a problem, but what are they trying to resolve?
Right.
Are they just going to push into the Ristic and, feed the T&K player 50 plus cards? Or are they going to like try to attempt a flash win? And so they want all the interaction to go T&K's way and then they're going to win on top. Like, why are they saying what they're saying so many times?
Yeah. Especially, like, I think you make a good point, right?
Yeah.
The more you say something, the more likely it is that you're kind of painting yourself as like more of a scary threat.
Yeah.
And like, oh, well, hey, well, that's why I say make your argument very clear.
Yeah.
Be concise about it. You don't need to sit there and have these long drawn out discussions. They don't go anywhere, right? If you really think about most of your arguments, they go in circles.
Yeah.
Like it's you making the same point, they're making the same counterpoint. You guys go dancing around in that for 5 minutes. Nobody's gotten anywhere.
Yeah. And if you aren't clear, it just leads to ill will at the table and leads to crash outs and all of the behavior that's already in the don't section, because then people say, well, they lied to me. Well, no, technically I didn't lie. And we get into this like, actually situation. And it's just, it's still not good for the table.
I have heard so many stories that are clearly just misinterpretations of, and both people have very good points.
Yeah.
And I just don't think that it's always very clear. Like sometimes it's extremely clear, right? Like someone boldface lies to your face.
Right.
They say they're going to do something, they do the exact opposite.
Right.
Right? Like that's very clear.
Oh, I'm not going to win, I'm winning. Or,
Right.
yeah, I'm not going to win, I win the game.
Right. Like very clear.
Yeah.
Other times it's like, hey, I'm going to do this on my turn, and then we'll see kind of what happens after that. And then it's like, oh, well, you're doing all this other stuff you didn't say you did. And you're like, no, I kind of said I'd see what happens after that.
Right. Or it's like, oh, are you winning the game right here? I'm going to see what I top deck. We're going to see what we can cobble together. Not going to commit to not winning, There's a lot of doors open there.
Well, I mean, even just saying, are you going to win here can be open for interpretation, right? Be like, hey, are you going to make a move that puts you in such a winning position that the rest of the game doesn't matter? Right? Like, that's a question I like a lot more.
Yeah.
Like, hey, when I say, are you winning, are you going to go to your turn and go infinite or do some other dumb shit to where it's like, hey,
right.
there's not, it's a non-game after that. Like, yes, technically you didn't win on your turn, but you won on your turn.
Right. Like, this goes back to what we talk about a lot, which is like the spirit of the deal and the letter of the deal. And I think more often than not, players generally try to honor the spirit of the deal, which is why...
But you have plenty of players that'll do the letter of the deal.
Exactly. Which is why it can feel bad when you run into letter of the deal players, because it's like, oh, okay, so I needed to put my lawyer hat on and I needed to wordsmith every single thing that you said. This isn't a spirit of the deal situation. Got it.
Yep.
Got it.
Yep. That can be frustrating.
Yeah.
Cool. So we want to move to don't number 3.
So the third don't that we have for your table talk is don't advertise your interaction or your plan. And I feel like this is another one that some people kind of have trouble with. And I think we've answered questions on this channel about when do I use my interaction and when do I tell how other people have interaction. And I think there are definitely kind of two camps of players here. One that hold their interactions so close to their chest you never quite know what's going on, which leads to the miscommunications we talked about in, Be Clear and Concise. And others who will just kind of throw it all on the table and say, Force of Will, Fierce Mindbreak Trap, I have interaction, Or another one that really gets me at the table is when the first scary thing goes on the stack and someone immediately says, I'm F6, guys. Not even leaving a shadow of a doubt, not even saying, hey, just pointing out something innocuous, right? Well, I have 5 cards in hand. Doesn't mean any of them are interaction, but just pointing out little things like I have 5 cards in hand and untapped blue mana, and just leaving the little wiggle room to maybe put some doubt in the mind of the person that's pushing. But when you say things like, oh yeah, I have 3 counter spells, or oh yeah, I'm F6, that immediately lets the other players at the table know what they have to beat and makes their path to victory so much easier.
It's crazy how often I hear players will just give up that they have no interaction.
I know.
When it's not their turn.
I know. That one really gets me.
Or it's like there's still 2 players in front of them and they're like, yeah, I don't have any interaction. You just gave the green light to 2 players to gun for it. The only time you should be giving up your interaction is during very specific circumstances where it's like, someone's like, show me a piece of interaction or I'll use it. And then you have to make the decision, is it better just to say, go use your spell, I'll counter it? Or is it better, looking and assessing the situation, is it better to show it and let them sit on whatever spell they are? I'm very much a person that's like, most of the time I think I'd rather people just play it out and I'll counter it. But if I'm sitting against turbo decks, it makes the decision point a little bit harder. So like, I'll give you a good example. At Misplay on the Lake in the top 16 game, Kyle showed me, I think he showed me a Necro and said, I'm going to push unless you show me a piece of interaction. And I showed a Force of Will. Hilariously, I didn't have a pitch.
Yeah, I know. Bullshit.
And the Rockside player and a Chowder Sisei player were sitting behind me. So that's one of those situations where I'm not willing to counter it there. Not only did I not.
You can't.
Well, I didn't have the bonus spell.
I'm not willing. You can.
He didn't know that.
This is that wordsmithing he's on.
Oh, wait, or did I have the count? Did I have the pitch? I don't remember. Either way, I don't remember if that's
the pitch would have been Thorical.
That's what it was.
That was your issue.
That was what it was.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, no, I think I did have a pitch.
Yeah,
but I've definitely shown the Force of Will before without the pitch spell.
I know.
Plenty of times. To Lily, I think.
I
know. But yeah, so that's a weird situation where it's like, ew, if I Force the Will this shit, the other 2 players then have green light to go for it. Because then it's like,
Right.
crap, now I'm out of my counter magic, and they're trying to assess whether I have another piece,
Right.
which likely don't if I'm pitching Thoracle, right? So
Yeah, that signals you're pretty down bad.
yeah, right there in that situation, probably right. So it's like I'd rather you be able to hold on to that and then use it as a bargaining chip later. But you have to make that decision, right? And that's still, you're not giving up what kind of interaction it is. So like the Chowder Sensei player, I think ended up showing a piece at some point during the game as well, and it was a silence that no one knew about.
Yeah.
And then it got shown later that it was a silence. But the idea is, I see a lot of players are really fast to give up these interaction points, or like kind of reveal what their plan is on their turn at the first drop of something. It's like, well, show me, if someone says, I'm going to counter this unless you tell me what you're getting, be like, well, show me the counter spell and we can have a discussion. But like, I'm not going to give away what I'm doing unless you show me the counter magic.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm fine getting countered. I don't care.
That's fair.
Plenty of other spells for me to cast that are going to do the thing.
That's
or
fair.
other people can win. At the end of the day, it's whatever, right? But be very careful with it, right? Just, there's no gold standard for when you should or shouldn't show interaction. You just really have to kind of go with your gut in assessing the board and being like, hey, am I good to show interaction here, or am I better off just countering whatever it is? Because sometimes, get rid of that shit, right? Like if it's a breach and you're sitting on a forced egg, send that shit to the Shadow Realm, right? Don't even think about it. Just be like, nope, that's gone forever.
Yeah.
Especially in a deck with white, right? If it's Rogside, it's like, who cares? They don't really have anything to get it back anyway. But if it's white or green, yeah, get rid of that shit. Send that, never coming back. Don't have to worry about breach. And usually breach is the best combo in the deck in most of those. So.
Or when someone wants to necro and they say, give me a reason not to necro, send that shit to the Shadow Realm.
Yeah, because sometimes it's like, I'd rather get rid of it now.
Yeah, than have it just loom over my head. It's like the top 16 game from, I forgot what tournament we were in together. Was it Forest Fight? Or the Encounter?
The Encounter?
The Encounter, yeah.
Oh, where the Malcolm Vile player was like,
Yeah.
oh,
he said, give me a reason to not cast this necro. I'm chill to just cast Malcolm. I said, I think you should just cast Malcolm, bud, but do what you're gonna do. Nah, I'm a cast necro. All right, Swan Song.
Yeah.
And then what was it? He was like, well, you could have just told me to cast Malcolm. I did.
Well, he wanted you to show the interaction, and I was like, I don't think you show any interaction.
Oh, yeah.
Like, let him make the bad play.
I don't want the necro looming over my head. Like we were just saying. That was the whole point. I'm not going to let you sit here and drop it after Hayward tries to do something scary. Like, just get rid of the necro.
And that's the thing, right? Like, there's just, it's just a gut feeling. You're just going to have to kind of wing it and figure out like where it feels good and doesn't feel good. But be very careful. Don't say your F6 when it's not your turn. And especially,
So many people do it.
actually, I'm going to get into this later. We'll get into the second part later, but like, just be very careful with how you say it and where you're saying. Every word you say should matter in a game of CEDH.
Yeah.
And a lot of players are very, very loosey-goosey with how they do it.
Yeah.
Let's just rein it in a little bit. Keep that information to yourself, right? Be as safe. You're a vault of information. That vault does not open unless you absolutely need it to open. Especially for any information. If you're just chatting, having a good time, being friendly, sure.
Yeah.
But cards, game state, information that matters in the game, don't give anything away.
Yep.
Everything matters. And people that are really good players will take advantage of it every single time. So, I mean, I've literally had windows open for me with hearing people all be like, oh yeah, we're all F6 for a creature. And I'm sitting there looking at Brewmaster Devoted Druid like, oh, well.
I do that shit with
Sucks to suck.
I do that shit with Glenhorn all the time.
Yeah.
I should not get away with it as much as I do, but the amount of times people say, yeah, I don't have interaction for that. Cool.
Yeah.
Noted.
Because sometimes you can be like, and this is where bluffing can come into play, right? Because you can be like, hey, like, it's about to be Malcolm Vile's turn, for example. Do we have interaction for your creature? And you'll be like, well, do you have interaction for your creature? And they'll be like, oh, well, I can show you something. And I'll be like, I'll show you something. And you slide over a land. And that way they know you ain't got shit for the creature that's about to happen. But again, be very careful in your assessment that the player that is asking isn't trying to fish information out of your hand so that they can do their own push. Right? Be very clear, like, hey, if I show you this, are you still passing turn? Like, are you doing all your things? Like, don't have to beat them over the head with it, but you do want to make sure you're very careful about how and why you give away that information.
Right.
So with that, I think we can move on to our fourth do. So you do want to allow for some time for thinking. And what I mean by this is when it's someone has to think through something, right? Like you're like, hey, I'm going to make the argument. don't immediately start trying to make the same argument again or rewording it or whatever. Like, give people some time to think through it and be kind about it. You don't have to give them like 10 minutes to sit there and think, but give them, 30 seconds, a minute. There are a lot of players who I've seen people really, really rush them, or like they can't deal with the dead air. And so they fill it with talking, and that talking ends up just being more arguments.
Yeah.
Which only hurts your argument, right? If your argument is strong, it stands on its own. It doesn't need to be repeated. It doesn't need to be said over and over again. A good argument stands on its own without needing to like hammer someone over the head about it.
Right.
And if there's someone else that's sitting there going in on them, be like, hey, give them time to think. You can be that person to be, if there's someone in the pod who's going in on that person, you've made your argument, the person's making their argument, but they're getting circular because they're trying to win the argument battle by just talking at them. Be like, hey, give them time to think about our arguments. This is what I said, this is what they said. Take some time to think about it. Not too long, right? We're not sitting here going to think for 2 minutes, but 30 seconds to a minute, make your decision. Let's move on with the game.
Yeah. Same when people are winning. Like you said, there are people that will just yap at people while they're trying to execute their win line. Or they're thinking through something like, exiling cards to an underworld breach or what to get off of a green tutor. And immediately 5 seconds into resolving that tutor, you get can I get a game action? Can I get a game action, please? Can you
people
take a
just
game
like
action?
trying to be kind of scummy at the end.
Yeah. And it's like, dude, they're executing a win line. They're thinking what to exile off the breach. They're finding the creature that'll win the game. Like, please chill out. We don't need to ask for a game action after 5 seconds. Give them 30 seconds. Let them tutor. It's okay.
You will never look worse than asking for a game action when it's been like no time at all. This has actually happened to me at the Invitational.
Right.
This guy literally kept asking. So like he called Judge 3 times. Each time requiring, Judge to come over and do the thing. And then it like be like another minute and he called Judge for slow play again. It'd be like, bro, how am I going to time to think when you keep calling Judge?
Yeah.
You called Judge because you didn't like the fact that we were working together.
Yeah.
You called Judge because you didn't like the fact that we were talking about what card to get out of the deck because it was someone tutoring for something.
Yeah.
And the player that was trying to win, or the player that was clearly in the dominant position, didn't like the fact that we were working together to try and figure out how to stop him from winning on his turn. And literally is sitting there, we're demonic tutoring. So we're looking through the deck together, calls Judge on the fact that we're looking together, which is allowed. And that player knew it, right? Like all the players in that pod, it was an invitational, right? We all know what's going on. So you call him Judge just to get people flustered. It's already scummy. Then calling Judge again, like literally after 2 minutes of us searching together, we've decided we were debating between 2 cards. Calls Judge again for slow play. Like, bro, we are down to like the 2 cards. We have been talking this whole time. We're clearly not trying to draw the game out.
Right.
You're just kind of being a prick at this point to be a prick. And then Judge comes over. We're like, hey, we just started again because you called Judge, so we didn't get a chance to really do anything.
Right.
It hasn't been that much time. Like, if he was just searching, it wouldn't be even slow play at this point. Judge has to come over. We talk through it all. Goes again. Minute later, calls Judge again. And I'm like, brother. And this time the judge tries to issue a slow play warning. I appeal and win the appeal because I'm like, we have literally not, it's been 6 minutes total. We have literally not been able to have any kind of discussion because every time we try, he calls Judge.
Yeah.
Because he's trying to spite us here and hope that we don't, by flustering us, that we're not going to be able to figure out a plan.
Yeah.
We ended up drawing that game. So like all that just to still draw. Funny enough. And now whenever I see that player again, I'm not exactly going to have great feelings about it because you created ill will in a game. Again, you don't have to give people forever, right? There is an appropriate time to be like, hey, don't mean to be a prick, but I do need a game action here. Like it has been a couple minutes.
Yeah.
And if someone, you can tell when someone's clearly slow playing and stalling. And if they're doing that, call Judge and be like, hey, can you watch for slow play? Like I'm a little worried about stalling here. But I've seen people who just do it when they're flustered. They'll try to catch people. They'll trip them up on stuff like that. Especially, they'll try to bully them into submission with their words, talk at you too much, and then all of a sudden you can't think, like we talked about before.
Yeah.
It's appropriate to give people time to think. It's very sportsman. And at the end of the day, remember, guys, this is a game. I understand money's on the line. I get it. Trust me. Been there. Been there with a lot of money on the line. It's not worth your morals. It's not worth your character. It's just not, in my opinion. maybe there's a price. We've talked about this before. We joked. Maybe there's a price where my morals and character go out the window.
Yeah.
It's certainly not the amount of money that's being offered today.
No.
And I don't know that CEDH will ever get to the amount of money that it would require me to throw my morals out the window.
No, yeah.
But I think doing scummy things like trying to talk over people and bully them while they're sitting there thinking, guys, just give people time to think. It's not going to kill you in games. I promise. I've done it plenty of times. Right. My record's fine. Promise y'all. Y'all be fine.
And if it is excessive, call a judge, right? We don't need 5 minutes on an Orcish Bowmaster's ping. You know what I mean? But if somebody's tutoring, if somebody just ad naused or intuition or necroed or, anything that requires a huge swath of cards or they're going through their deck, right? Like,
oh, I've seen that before.
Just give them a minute.
30 seconds into, right after an ad naused, they're like, I need a game action. You're like, brother, he just put 60 cards in his hand. Right. Give him a second here to think.
I have 30 cards in my hand right now. What do you want from me? Let me cook a line. Give me a second.
Yeah.
I've literally said that post Necropile one time. I think it was right after I added it back into Blue Farm because I didn't run it in Blue Farm for a minute. And I necroed. I said, oh shit, I haven't done this in Blue Farm in a minute. I said, hold on, guys. Grabbed my water bottle, took a sip of water, and just stared at my hand for a good minute. And I was like, okay, we got there. But give people space to think. It's okay.
Yeah. So, at the end of the day, like you said, it's just be a good person, right? It's a game. We're here to win, but it doesn't always have to be about winning.
Video too long, didn't watch. TLDR, be a good person. Okay, so for our fourth don't, we have don't jump other players in priority. So what mainly jumps to my head, and we see this a lot, is when a spell goes on the stack or, it's a heavy heuristic trigger game, draw engine heavy game, and, something goes on the stack and the player that's last in priority or second in priority immediately says, I don't have anything for that past priority. Mm-hmm. And then the first person in priority, that player still hasn't had a chance to pass. So now, this gives a lot of information to various players at the table. Yeah. It can let the person that's last in priority know, oh shit, this may be my problem. If the first person immediately passes, the second person has said their F6, oh crap, this is a me problem. The person that's winning is thinking, great, okay, one person out of the equation, only have to fight 2 more people. I think I can win that battle, or I'm cooked regardless of, whether this player has interaction. But I think it also lends you to being priority bullied more and kind of just generally bullied in the game for your interaction, because also, this goes to let the person who's first in priority say what they're doing first, but before you do anything. Because if the person in priority, just gets priority, just draws their card, whatever, they haven't even passed yet, you don't know what they're doing, and you slide them a Force of Will. Well, now they're looking at their Flusterstorm and they say, cool, I don't have to use this. You go first, bud. You can all go first. I'm just going to sit here for a while, right? And it lets that player have a lot of information power, like we talk about. You need to be a vault with your information. And if you're giving it to somebody who hasn't necessarily passed priority and you don't know what they have going on, that may not end well for you.
Yeah. The idea here is you want to kind of almost talk in priority order. Mm-hmm. So if someone puts a spell on the stack and the person in priority is thinking, you don't need to say anything. Now, if they try to pass priority, you can speak up and be like, hey, do you have anything for this? Because if you do, I'm not sure that I would counter this. Mm-hmm. You kind of want to say it in a way that doesn't give away information. But the idea really is that if you speak up and be like, oh, well, I can counter this, right? Well, now, of course, I'm just going to pass to you to counter it, even if I have interaction.
Yeah.
Or you go, oh, well, I'm F6. I can't counter this if it gets to me. Okay. Well, why would you give that away for free? Right. Right. Because now you don't want, even if it's true, you can't counter what the person that's currently on the stack doing. You don't want to give away information to the other two. Yeah. No matter where you are in priority order, right? Sometimes it's a pass and you're just like, yeah, I've got nothing. I have to pass. Mm-hmm. You still don't even say I've got nothing. You just say, yeah, I'm going to have to pass on this one. Mm-hmm. And if someone's like, we have no interaction, you're just like, I'm sorry, I have to pass. Yep. That's where I'm at right now.
Yeah. Or sometimes what I do is, it's not necessarily bluffing, I guess. I don't know. I'll pass over interaction I can't cast. So it'll just be like, hey, these are the counter spells in my hand. And, I'm tapped out and it's an offer and a swan song, right?
Okay.
And it's just kind of that it's not a lie, right? It's not true. These are the counter spells that I have.
Right.
Are they castable? Well, that's a different discussion.
Right. The idea here, though, is we want you guys to not get yourselves in positions where it's easy to be priority bullied, because that's kind of how a lot of times it happens, is bad people will speak up when it's not their turn in priority order. And the person that has priority will just be like, oh, cool, yeah, you deal with it then.
Right.
Right. Now, if the person in priority is asking, like, hey, guys, I don't really have anything to do with this. Like, what do y'all have? Because, like, I can dig or something. Because I do that a lot, right? I'll be like, hey, like, what do you guys have? Can you guys back me up? Can we dig? Right? Like, I am digging for information, 100%.
You always are.
But, like, and there's not necessarily anything wrong with giving that away if you feel it's strategic for you to do so.
Yeah.
Be like, look, you're going to have to, like if I'm back there, I'd be like, well, you're saying you have nothing. Like, you're going to have to show me something before I use my counterspell. Or, like, we're going to have to make some kind of deal where you don't push a win. Because I'm not going to sit there, back of the priority order and use my stuff unless you're saying you have nothing. Because in an ideal world, right, the person in priority is the person who's going to counter it. But the good players will do everything in their power to push priority away from themselves and push it down to the players that are furthest in priority order to give themselves the best chance of opening up windows and winning the game. And some players are very good at extracting that information. And so, again, you just have to be kind of a vault about it. Don't give that away, right? And a lot of times that's letting the person in priority make the first move, make that first discussion point. Don't say anything. Be a stone wall until you feel it's time to speak.
Right. Especially if you think that person that's first in priority is setting up for their own win.
Right. And they're just fishing.
I don't know how many games I have seen you get away with where it's like, you guys are F6? There's no more counter spells at the table? Oh, sick. Swift reconfiguration? Other various flash win in my deck? Like,
I would say I have no idea what you're talking about, but I literally did that
it's literally on video. It's documented at the Boil too. Like,
oh, is it?
There's actual proof of this. The Valley Flood Caller game. I don't think it was
the top 16.
It wasn't Swift DD, but yeah, the Otter game.
Yeah, where
literally documented live and on camera.
I waited so long in that game. Yes. Oh my god, it was like 45 minutes of just sitting there waiting and waiting and waiting, and then it was like, oh, okay, I can go now.
Yes.
Like, oh, everyone's at interaction.
The Jordan special. You hit them with your favorite line. You guys don't have anything for this? Say it with that exact inflection at the table. Win rate up by 10%.
I feel personally victimized right now.
Sue me.
I don't think I've ever said it like that. I say it like, like, hey, we don't have anything for this. It's different. It's different.
Okay.
So the last do is going to be preserve optionality. What this means is don't let yourself get locked into positions that you can't get out of. So like bad deals that lock you into losing, or you've said something that kind of like now you're kind of committed to it. So like, for example, if someone's asking like, hey, do you have interaction for this? And you go, no. And let's say it's like, it's a Brewmaster win, right? Like they've put Brewmaster on the stack. You're looking at a Swords. Swords absolutely does do it. And they're like, do you have interaction for this? And you go, no. And then, they're like, okay. And they counter it. And then let's say a turn later, someone else does a creature combo and you Swords. Well, now you've looked like a liar. Instead, you want to use very specific political tools. Like, I'm not going to interact with this here. Or I can't, or I don't feel like I can interact with this here. Or even I can't interact with this here. That one gets a little sketchy.
Just like what I have isn't best for the scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's little things, like little ways you can word things to get out of committing to any one thing. And you just want to be very careful about that, right? Because that again creates really feels bad moments for players. And that is another way you'll get labeled a liar very quickly, is if you're saying things that aren't quite accurate. So here's like another common one that I hear people use all the time. Well, they'll be like, I don't know what I'm getting when they're putting a tutor on the stack. And then immediately snap grab something. Yeah. So you lied. You knew what you were grabbing the whole time.
Yeah.
So like for me, a lot of times I'll put something on the stack and I'll have like an idea of what I want. And I'll say like, I think I know what I want, but I'm not sure. I'm going to look and look at my options because sometimes I will find a better option when I'm going through the deck. Like that happens all the time for me.
Right.
Green tutors can be like that sometimes.
I think the worst deal people get walked into is, well, I just won't win the game. I'm not going to win here, you know?
Yeah, and then they're like,
Yeah, and then it ends up being,
oh, brain freeze you all out in past turn. Yeah, I didn't win the game.
yeah, something like that. Or they just walk themselves into such a bad position where it'll be time and they'll be the last turn and everybody else suddenly turns into a semantics lawyer or something, and they're just like, well you said you wouldn't win on your turn, and even though it's the final turn you said, so we must draw here. And then that player is just like, well, fuck, like technically I did walk myself into that, and I do sort of become a liar if I don't win here, you know. And I walked myself into that, but this is the final turn and circumstances have kind of changed. So do I do the scummy thing and push, or do I just take the draw, right? Like, you've walked yourself into a really shit scenario.
And that's what preserve optionality really means, right?
Yeah.
It's like, so like, you're like, oh yeah, I'm okay to agree with that unless you guys drag out this time. Then if it's my final turn, I'm going to push.
Yeah.
Right? Like, because you never know if people are trying to get, assume everyone's always trying to get one over on you on a deal, right? So like, let's say there's 35 minutes left in the game and the person's like, well, you can't push on your next turn. You'd be like, well, look, here's the deal I'm willing to make. If I get a turn and we're not at time, then I'll agree to that. Or if I feel like it's not going to be my final turn, but if I feel like it's going to be my final turn, I can't make that deal. That's stupid for me. Like, then I'm agreeing to draw or lose this game, and I'm not going to agree to a deal that does that. So that's what, and then you leave that open. And then if they want to drag the time on for 25 more minutes and you get 10 minutes left, and you say, hey, I feel like I don't get another turn now because you guys took too long, I'm going to do my push now.
Yeah.
You know, where it's just like, oh, it took 2 minutes and it got to your turn. And you're like, okay, cool, I can pass it around, and if it's not going to take too long, maybe I'll get another chance at it.
Right.
Right? Like, it's very open for interpretation.
Right.
And that's what you want. You want deals that are very open for interpretation when you're making them, right? We talked about earlier about you don't want to put yourself in a bad deal, but when you're the one making the deal, you do want to craft it to where it leaves open as many avenues as possible to where you're not locked into losing. That's really what we just want you guys to not do. We don't want you to make deals where you're locked into drawing or you're locked into losing, because it feels really, really bad. Sometimes the deal is like, hey, we're all going to agree to draw if we do this. Fine. Like, sometimes you're like, cool, I'll take that deal because that's what the outcome was going to be anyway. But I think it feels really bad when you feel like someone's forced you into a position where it's like, hey, like, you have to take this deal or I'm willing to let this person win. And you're like, cool, like, I don't, like, that sucks.
Yeah.
Or it's like, you know, someone's asking you to make a ridiculous deal to, like, preserve your value, and you'd be like, oh, well, you can have that, but you can't win for the next 2 turns or something. You're like, I'm not agreeing to that, just counter it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like, preserve the option to do something in the game. Don't ever let yourself get back in a corner where you're not able to win or you're forced into a draw unless the board state is dictated, like, that is your best outcome. It's like, okay, cool, I'm willing to force draw here. But the amount of times I've watched players literally lose because they made a deal that was basically you lose the game. Right? I mean, it's infamous. If you think back on Tim and Evan's deal, Freedom Waffle and Gold Sabertooth.
Yeah, that was basically like the scenario I described, where it's
Evan
like,
basically walked him into, you have to lose.
yeah, do I become a liar and get called a liar online, or do I do what some people are going to call scummy, but win the game because they walked me into losing the game?
Yeah. Because, like, it's I'm going to say it's bullshit to feel like to honor my deal, I have to lose this game. Like, that sucks. Like, that's a terrible deal, and no one would ever have rationally made that deal. But because you said it in such a way that you got one over on me, now I'm forced into a deal like that. Like, again, when you're making deals, you always preserve the option to be like, look, I'm willing to make a deal, but if I feel like I'm backed into a corner where my only out is to win, then I'm going to do that. Like, I'm not going to make a deal that loses me the game. I want to be very clear about that.
Right.
I'm good with the deal. Unless the deal actively harms me into losing this game, then I'm not. Then I reserve the right to break the deal and do what I'm going to do.
Right.
Like, just always say that. And if they're not wanting to make a deal, then you go, it's cool, but I don't care. I don't care about the outcome of this game. Like, that's fine, because sometimes, like, some of these deals are just so bad, and sometimes you're losing either way, so you might as well just take the loss.
Right. And you should disincentivize further poor deal making.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes you just need to stand on it and say, all right, you can lose. If you're going to if my options are being walked into such a shit deal that it leads to you winning or me losing to this person right now, I'm a lose either way. I'm not letting you walk me into that.
Yep, agreed. 100%.
Yep.
All right, to the last don't.
All right, so for the last don't, it is don't under politic at the table. So I feel like a lot of the discussion tonight has kind of gone around over politicking, over yapping, people kind of crashing out and dominating the table. But the other side to that coin is people who just refuse to politic or aren't quite proficient enough at politicking to feel comfortable arguing their points at the table, either, just because they don't like it or they don't have a lot of reps with kind of the tournament politicking. They're more used to locals or online games. And so this can often lead to players kind of getting walked into bad scenarios. So I find that there are a lot of players that when something scary goes on the stack, things start happening on the board, and it's like, hey, what do you got for this? I'm not going to say anything. Do what you're going to do. Counter it if you're going to counter it, right? And to a certain extent, right, we do say, hey, become this fortress, become this vault, but I feel like a lot of that goes out the window when you start actively losing, right? If there's an underworld breach on the stack, don't tell me do what I'm gonna do. Let's fight the breach player and handle each other in a second.
Well, a lot of the advice is very dependent, right? Like,
Yeah.
The idea here, right, is that a lot of this is very dependent. This is very situational, very contextual, right? Sometimes we want you guys to be fortresses and vaults and not say anything. But you do need to have discussions when there's very specific things happening in the game, like someone's winning or a very dangerous spell goes on the stack that's going to very quickly lead to someone winning. You want to have those open discussions. And, there's times. It's always very dependent and contextual. We don't want you guys jumping priority, giving away information unless you absolutely need to. And that's kind of what we were saying throughout this, right? You're going to have to use judgment calls and your gut to decide when and, where is it appropriate to give away information and not give away information. But so many people that we know of will not talk at all, will not communicate anything, will let stuff happen, and then afterwards they'll be sitting there like, oh, well, I could have done this. So here's a great example. Has happened to me. I was winning a game with the Boro Breeze Caller line. When I put a Boro on the stack, I think I had 2 mana activate, to do the thing. The guy next to me had Beseju, but he didn't understand how the combo worked, so he didn't Beseju. Didn't communicate to the table. There was no communication about, any interaction. Everyone just kind of like went, oh, pass.
Yep.
I was like, cool. I, did the thing and won. And then afterwards, the guy's like, would Beseju have worked? And the guy was like, really? You had that the whole time? And he started to get a little frustrated. And I was like, well, you guys should have had a conversation.
Right.
Like, then you would have stopped me and this game would have continued.
Right.
But no conversation was ever had. And that's kind of what we want to talk about, right? Like, that's an appropriate time to reveal to the table you have interaction, right? Where every time a game-ending spell like that goes on the stack, that is an appropriate time to have a conversation, right? You don't need to argue over every little thing. You don't need to have a discussion over every little thing. There doesn't need to be a deal over everything. But when a game-winning spell goes on the stack, that is the absolute time. If at a bare minimum, if that's the only time you want to have a conversation, it should be when a game-winning spell goes on the stack.
Yeah.
You should have conversations. You should be a little bit more open, right? This is not the time to try and bluff people, to try and sandbag on people. I've watched it happen where players have tried to sandbag by passing priority and watch the other 2 pass priority and then lose. And then they get mad and be like, well, why didn't you say you didn't have interaction? Like, brother, if you had it, why didn't you just...
Why did you pass then?
Right. Like, you can't assume anything. So be willing to have those conversations, right?
Yeah.
This is a social game. You have to be willing to talk sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know how many games I've been in where, me and another player are talking about how something could have sequenced out differently or how something could have been done. One that comes to my mind is when I was playing with Alan in the Envy, actually, against Sterling in the last round of the Envy. And I think all of us were at a win-in, and Sterling ended up cooking the shit out of us. And there was a point where Alan and I were working really closely together, and we were kind of talking through stuff, and he had a DemCon. And because we didn't talk about that DemCon and where it should go on the stack and when it should resolve, or was it Sterling with the DemCon? No, Sterling had the DemCon, and I think Alan and I missequenced by not letting it resolve and then doing something.
Right.
And so if him and I had kind of been communicating better with each other, because I think we were both like setting up for our own thing, so we were still kind of being coy about our interaction, and it was just a weird place in the game. But I think if both of us had just communicated a little better, we probably realized, hey, you can let this decon resolve, absolutely cook the shit out of Sterling's library, and then one of us can win, right? But I think we get so kind of locked into our own board states and locked into what we're doing that you forget to communicate with the other players at the table sometimes. And then you get so locked into what you're doing, you're like, oh shit, we're actually losing on board. And I should have been talking with this player. And I was too busy kind of playing coy, doing my own thing, trying to sandbag, whatever the case is. And then, oh crap, we've lost the game.
Right.
And we could have had a discussion about it. Or how many games I've been in where someone says, kind of like what you said, right? Oh, well, I had this piece of interaction. Oh, where was that at the end? Oh, well, we didn't talk about it. Got it.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. These things can happen. Hopefully these do's and don'ts, though, help you guys not get got. Like I said, I think politicking is probably one of the hardest aspects of CEDH. I know it's very difficult for even 60-card players to jump over and get a hang of politicking because you can sequence everything perfectly and then watch as somebody rips your library apart or rips your soul apart by having the right piece of interaction. And you thought you read it perfectly, and it reading through players is very difficult. So
Yeah.
it takes time. It's tough, but hopefully these tricks will help you guys navigate your CEDH games.
Yep.
And with that, let's get to questions.
Okay, so our first question comes from Mr. Happy Sad on one of our YouTube videos. Where do you think Tivit sits at in the meta?
Best Esper deck. Probably
Yeah.
top 10. Like either top 10 or top 15. Like it sits around that 9-10 spot. It's really good. It's really, really strong.
I think it's top 15. I don't think we put it in our top 10 because I think that's what spurred that question.
Oh, okay. So that
Yeah,
makes
yeah,
sense. So yeah, definitely
yeah,
top
yeah.
15 then. Probably like 11 then.
11 or 12.
It's very good.
It is very good.
Better than I expect every time I play against it.
Right.
I think the only thing it's missing is just Tivit's so expensive that you lose
is.
out on a lot of really good interaction like Deadly Rollick and Fierce consistently, which I think hurts. The deck is just a tad slower, which I've seen it, people get under it and beat it a few times. But I still think it's by far the best Esper deck. Like I think it's here. And then all the Esper decks are like here. That one card win con just makes it so much easier because Esper's win cons are terrible.
I was gonna say the one card win con is great. Like it just turns any tutor into a threat when Tivit is on board.
Yeah.
Especially if you're already controlling the game and you have the game where you want it, it's really threatening.
I agree. It's a very good deck. Yeah, you really can't go wrong with Tivit. It's got all the things you want. A commander that can win the game, commander that can draw you cards.
Control
Control
plenty
elements.
of counter spells
Yeah.
to last through the early game against turbo or mid range with the mid range decks.
One of the few decks that can run Curse Totem,
Yes, that's very important.
which hoses so many decks in the format right now.
As it should.
Yeah. So I think it's very strong.
Yeah. Okay, so this question comes from our Discord, and it is from White Fang RWBY. This is a weird one to ask, but in some games when a player is outpacing everyone else, would you, and when, if so, do you help build up another player to deal with your opponent? Along those same lines, if you do, what type of deals do you try to make?
Build up.
So in my head, when I read this question, I'm thinking like, when is it acceptable to let the Seedborn Muse resolve? When is it acceptable to let the Heuristic Study resolve? Like how much leeway do we give our opponents to stop the threat at the time?
I think it really depends. Like this is super contextual.
Yeah.
Because if it's just going to lead to you winning, then it doesn't matter.
Right.
Right. If an opponent lands a Heuristic Study and it's kind of later game and they haven't really done a lot, I think I'm fine with it. Because I'm hoping they draw an interaction. If it's something like Seedborn Muse, I'm like, ugh. There's probably never a time that I'm okay with a Seedborn hitting the board unless the player's down to You know, they get one Thrasio spin a turn. Like, who cares? That's a worse rate than a Ristic Study generally. But it's the problem with Seedborn is it's too easy to snowball in it to being way worse.
That's the thing. I think it depends on what type of buildup we're allowing.
Right.
Like, should someone allow you to have Biofam and Cradle to quote unquote help?
Depends.
Right?
Like it's super contextual.
Maybe, but I do think that just eventually leads to them losing, you know?
It also depends on your own situation.
Because you spiral, though. You know, you're a spiral deck.
Well, a lot of decks are spiral decks.
Yeah.
But I really think it depends on your own situation too, right? Like if you're allowing a player to build up, what's the goal?
Yeah.
Right? Is the goal for the two of them to go to war and you slide under it?
Could be.
Is the hope that we're leading to a draw? Like, hey, I won't counter any of your stuff as long as you're playing for draw, because that's the deal to make. Right? Or it's like
I also think it depends on what deck you're building up. Letting a Rogsai have Veristic Study for a quote-unquote interaction, that's not how that game is going to go. They're just going to outpace you. Letting a Tivit have Veristic Study, you know, like we just talked about, on the slower end of Esper, but still dangerous in the mid-game, I'll probably let a Tivit have Veristic Study. They'll find the interaction.
right. The hope is that they don't find enough interaction to also stop you.
Exactly.
I think this is the one where you have to thread the needle really, really hard, because it's too easy to allow two player. The idea, I think, for a lot of people, like for me, right, my ideal game is I want one player to kind of be racing ahead, and I want to be like kind of slightly behind to where they're going to get all the heat, take all the interaction, and then I get to win. Right? Like that's the ideal board state for my decks.
Right.
Generally. Terra a little less so. Terra, I don't mind being ahead, being the threat, because like I'm trying to close the game early anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. And some decks like Rockside, like Atali, like Ral, they're fine being first.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's the goal of the deck. Rockdrass, I think, can sometimes get in that position as well. Though I think Rockdrass is actually more vulnerable when it's the top dog. I watched them get wiped a lot of times when they're like when they race out ahead and then they can't close.
They can't handle too much heat.
Depends on the deck. It really depends on the Rockdrass build.
Yeah.
Some of them can, some of them just get like Calling Ritual. Every time I resolve Calling Ritual against Rockdrass so often that it's funny as hell.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I can pull wins off with it.
That's fair.
Sometimes I can't, but most of the games, I feel like, you know, we finished the game very quickly.
Right.
So yeah, this one's tough. This one's tough because I really think you're threading the needle. I don't think it's necessarily wrong to like if someone's pulling ahead, I'm not going to counter other people's engines. Like that just doesn't make sense.
Also true.
Right? Like if someone's dominating the game.
If somebody already has a Heuristic Study, I'm not countering the second one.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, the question becomes like if someone's, you know, like let's say you're playing against Rogishai, they've got 3 Heuristic Studies, and dude wants to play a Smothering Tithe, I'm not counting the Smothering Tithe.
Right. Rogish, I can deal with that.
Right. They can deal with 1,000 treasures. Or like if it's the, you know, yeah, stuff like that, right? Like I think I agree, right? If there's a first Heuristic Study comes down, I'm fine with the second coming down. I'm like, I'm not going to sit there and counter one and not the other. Like doesn't make any sense.
Right. So, now, if it's a clone, I'll blow up one so the clone doesn't have anything.
Because it's a 2 for 1.
I'll send everybody to hell. But I mean,
yeah,
not allowing a second one seems weird.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. All right, last question. This one also comes from our Discord, and it is from White Dragon 04. Hey Jordan, what about Silverquill the Disputant in the 98 in TNT?
Yeah, I like it. Depending on the build, like the Tree Farm build, I think takes advantage of this a little bit more than like NBC TNT does, just because we have so many like tokens that we can throw away without it being much of an issue, like vampires and cats and stuff. Depending on the version of Tree Farm I would say you're running, because I've gone a little token less lately. But like Oculus cards, very easy to sack, and sometimes I'd want them in the graveyard because then I can access them easier than I can if they're on the field. So like if it's a Calling Ritual underneath, like I'd rather that be in the graveyard because then I can E-Wit it back and go nuts. Okay. But it's really good. B and I have actually been debating this, whether the Silverquill or the other dragon, the Golgari one, can't remember his name, the one that's got affinity for creatures. Both of them should be in the deck.
Yeah.
Silverquill just making it to where all your stuff is copied really good. Like 2 Demonic Tutors is pretty nice. Pretty nice. Or even like 2 fetches.
Battles get easier.
They can. The problem is you just have to have the fuel to keep it going.
Right.
And there's a lot of games where I feel like the 4-drop dragon, you know, he's a 4-drop, which is kind of expensive for our deck.
It's gonna hurt more. It's gonna help.
Well, there's games where he's just gonna be dead.
True.
Right? Like he's gonna be dead draw. And that's my only worry with him. Same thing on the Golgari one too. Like they're just gonna be, I think it's Witherbloom. There should be dead draws,
That's valid.
right? Where like I don't have the creatures to get Wither Bloom into play, or I don't have even the spells to do anything with them, even once I do.
Yeah.
And then same thing for Homeboy, right? Like maybe I don't have the creatures to sack. Or, hey, maybe I have a handful of creatures that I don't have any instants or sorceries to take advantage of them, right?
Yeah.
So, like...
That's valid. That's valid.
Yeah. I'm really mixed on him. I think he's cool, and I think he's probably worth... They're both worth testing, but I don't know that either sticks. So, all right. With that, we want to go to meta breakdown?
Yeah.
All right. Before we jump into the meta, one thing we wanted to talk about was a little bit of our MagicCon experience, which was fantastic.
It was. I had a really good time.
We had a really good time.
I got to pet the cats.
She did. There was cats there.
I was so happy. That was the biggest treat of MagicCon.
Ridiculous.
Insert kitten pictures here. A very happy note they all got adopted.
There was also the first CEDH event, the CEDH Cup. I don't even know who won
We
it.
didn't even know about it.
We didn't know about it.
Yeah.
We knew about like Last Commander Standing. I did play in the Last Commander Standing. I think I went to I think it was round 3 because I feel like I played 2 games.
You said round 3.
Yeah, I think that's right. I was questioning it again. I was like, maybe it was just round 2. Either way, I got cannoned on turn 3, like one does.
That's why it's fucking out here.
The other 2 players in the pod were, if I remember correctly, were not. CEDH was clearly new to them. I'm trying to think. Maybe I'm getting my games mixed up. I played a lot of games.
Yeah.
So I might just be getting things mixed up. But either way, it was rough. I got turn 3 cannons. Not fun. What can you do? But yeah, CEDH Cup. I hope that that's something they're going to continue to do because I think it's really cool.
It is really cool.
I heard that there's a lot of things they still got to work out to make it work better, but I still think it's a great step forward for CEDH getting recognized, which is cool.
That's valid.
Or not cool, depending on your point of view, I guess, because I know some people are complaining about it because then proxies get knocked out and all that. But
I mean, proxies are such a huge portion of our format. That's a reasonable opinion.
Yeah. But the rest of it was really cool. Getting to do the Learn to Play CEDH event. So
yeah, that was a lot of fun.
We weren't initially part of it. Well, again, we didn't really know. We just kind of showed up to MagicCon with no real plan.
we showed up on vibes.
Plus it's Vegas, so like,
Yeah, we were in Vegas. You walk out of the con, you look out, you see Vegas. It's great.
Right. So like, we were just there. At some point, I told Ian like, hey, if you need anybody, I'm happy to fill in.
Right.
They ended up needing both Lily and I to fill in.
Yeah.
Which was cool. So ended up being there most of Sunday.
Yeah. I only played at the end because of the cats.
Yeah, she was in line for the cats. But yeah, they needed a fill in. I think I filled in for hire if I remember correctly.
Nice.
So yeah, really cool. Was a lot of fun getting to teach people to play CEDH. I had a blast with it. So
yeah.
So definitely something I definitely want to do next time, hopefully. Definitely something I'll probably apply for it. I don't know if I'll get it, but like I'll apply.
I feel like because we went on vibes, the con gave me such decision paralysis where it was like, do I go stand in the merch line? Do I go try to get a tattoo from the tattoo artist that they had there evidently? Do I go sit in the 2-hour cat line? Do I peruse vendors? Like I
did want the Magic Crocs.
Yeah, I wanted the Magic Crocs too.
I didn't want them bad enough to sit in the 3 or 4 hour line.
I saw an Instagram reel later of people literally running when they get out of the line to run to the back for the merch. Just like running through, like from that line area all the way to the back.
That's great.
Because the con merch was in the very back, like behind.
I never even saw it.
Yeah, behind the artists. So even further back than where we met like a bee.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So people sprinting across the whole hall to get to the Crocs.
That's crazy.
It is kind of crazy.
They're just Crocs. I did want them, actually. They were pretty sick.
I got a cool shirt. I got a MagicCon shirt.
You did. True. But yeah, it was a really fun overall experience. I'd say if you've never been to one, you should probably try it at least once. It's really fun. So
it was worth the trip. It was worth the time. No regrets.
No regrets. So there wasn't any, like, I would say major tournaments this past weekend, probably because of MagicCon.
Yeah.
And we don't know what the MagicCon, I don't even know where to find the MagicCon Cup results. I tried looking for them and I didn't see them. I heard Tivit won, or he won Last Commander Standing. See, that's the thing. I don't even know.
If anyone has the info, drop it in the comments, please.
Yeah, because I have no idea.
Yeah.
So we decided to do the Mulligan's Championship Series May with guaranteed Scrubland. Mostly because Ikra Rograk won, which I think is really cool.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's just going to be another Rogrek.
Yes,
Deck.
another ROG deck level. That's what the meta needed.
What's even funnier is that all 3 of the top 4, besides the one that won, were all Thrasios decks.
That is despicable, and you all should stop it.
You had TNT, Dog Thras, and then Vile Thras.
Okay, Vile Thras and the way
It's still
Jorman runs Timna Thras can barely be considered Thras variants.
there's still Thras variants.
All right.
Then we had Francisco Rog.
Okay.
So
That's okay.
interesting,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Interesting. Then
Yeah.
we had Sisay, Heliod,
Okay. Okay.
Arkham Daxon, the Master of Keys. I have not seen the
I
Master of
haven't
Keys.
heard of that commander in a minute.
Right? Timnacrom.
Okay.
So 1 blue farm.
Farm. I'm doing farm.
Magda. 2 more Sisays.
Interesting.
Then we had Carmen on Loot the Pathfinder. I love this deck, by the way.
Hell
I wish
yeah.
this deck was better.
Okay.
I've tried playing Loot before. It's a frustrating experience.
You had a loot arc.
I did. It's just so cool being able to do dumb stuff out of the command zone with him, but he's so expensive. Then you had Leonardo and Michelangelo.
Starting to see that up more.
I really think this deck is going to be pretty meta. It's just 5-color good stuff with like 5, like not even 5, like 4 cards that really get boosted by these 2, which is like Esper Sentinel gets really boosted, Polywog gets really boosted,
Yeah.
Ragavan gets really boosted.
Hold on, are they on Braids or is a Nightmare?
This one is, yeah.
Braids, my girl. I love it.
It's because you can sack the food tokens that they make.
Yeah.
Like pretty,
I mean, this is truly just blue farm in a different font size.
basically. I
It's a blue farm with an additional color.
kind of want to build this deck.
Hell yeah.
I'm going to have to get a Leonardo. Actually, we opened a Michelangelo this weekend.
We did.
So now I need a Leo. I can pick that up, though. And then we had Kinnan. Boo.
Ooh, Kinnan.
Sorry, Robert. It's not you. It's Kinnan.
It's Kinnan.
But also kind of you for running Kinnan.
It's always Kinnan.
So, yeah, I mean, very weird meta. Honestly, because it's a smaller event, not overly surprising. I feel like I always see weirder metas, like 70 and under
Right.
players. It's always when it gets to like the 100, you see more your typical stuff. So, not overly surprising, but congrats to everybody. Rog Ikra, I think, is really cool.
It's just a turbo deck.
It is.
I've seen it before.
It is. It is. It's like 100%
Right.
turbo, but I really like it because I don't know.
I mean, it just sends it. It's another just balls to the wall turbo strategy.
It's basically
I
Vile.
appreciate.
It's basically Vile Thras without blue.
Yeah.
Like that's all it is.
Yeah. Necros really well.
Yeah, 100%.
Necros on 2 reliably.
It's almost probably a better Necro deck in some ways.
Maybe.
Like less
I can see that.
protected. It's like super less protected and probably more fragile, but because you're not. I mean, you're losing Mean Bet. You're losing Thoracle.
You lose Born post Necro.
That's true.
That's a little tough.
And VFC.
And VFC.
Hold on, is he even on Necro? Yep, we're on Necro.
Yep.
I wonder how you're winning post Necro then. Or are you just having to pass turn?
Is there an emergent zone?
Yeah, I
Are
mean,
we heavy into Flash?
yeah, I'm sure there's an E zone. Yeah. No, there is no E zone.
Okay.
So we're not,
So maybe set up on 2, jam on 3.
unless we're missing something. I mean, you do have Necromancy. So this might be an instant speed Necromancy deck.
I mean, there is the Broodlord, right? We have the Broodlord.
Right.
So if we find the way to instant speed, get it to the yard, reanimate effect, go.
Yeah, but most of your reanimates. I mean, you have Corpse Dance. And, you have Corpse Dance and you have Shallow Grave. So is it just your Corpse Dancing, Shallow Graving, Necromancing at instant speed? Like, is that your only instant speed win?
Maybe.
Yeah, because other than that, I don't see how you're flashing anything in.
I don't know. If you play the deck, weigh in the comments. We have certainly had pilots that we've discussed in the meta discussion pop up. So if somehow you see this,
I mean, I imagine it's probably nausing more than necroing.
I'd imagine so, yeah. Although that Nas can hurt with the Broodlord in there.
Yeah, but I mean, that's really the only thing that's hurting it.
Yeah. You live by the You live by the NOS, you die by the NOS.
I'm shocked. I'm just shocked there's not an E zone. Like that feels like a very easy include because you're in green. Like you have crop rot, and you have the pitch spell. I don't know. I'm missing something.
Jordan's down a rabbit hole, guys.
Well, it's like because the rest of your stuff is sorceries, and you don't have a flash enabler.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm sure I'm missing something. I mean, obviously, dude went 5-1-1. So what do I know? Cool. Yep. Well, I think that's all we're gonna have time for today. Thank you, everyone, again. And like I said before, please go enter the giveaway on our Discord. It's a new channel we just set up. So literally just, I don't know, type your username or something. I don't know. What should I type?
Drop your favorite Drake Academy episode in the giveaways to let us know you got this far.
There you go. There you go. Yes. Yes. Drop your favorite episode.
Yeah.
And yeah, well, we're going to, we left 2, right?
Yep.
So yeah, we'll give 1 pack to one person and 1 pack to the other person. So we'll have 2 giveaways.
Yeah.
We'll just randomly select from the chat.
We can do a name wheel.
We can do a name wheel.
We'll do that. We'll do that.
Oh, we can do it live. Oh, well, we can't do it live. We can do it on the episode.
Yeah.
It won't be live, but it'll be yeah.
Yeah.
They'll have to watch the episode to see it.
We can do it on our phones and just show it.
Sure.
Cool.
That works. Yep. So we'll do that. And then, yeah, we'll just be back to normal, like I said, next week. I'm feeling a lot better. So hopefully I don't miss any more episodes and Lily doesn't get sick either.
Between Jordan being sick and going to the con, I'm so terrified.
And
I know it's coming for me.
And our daughter being sick a lot.
I know it's coming for me.
Yeah.
You all may have a solo Jordan episode.
Put in the comments if you want a solo Jordan episode. I feel like I'm not as cool as Lily, but that's okay. Yeah. So thank you again for everyone. We really appreciate the support. We didn't even mention it, but we had a ton of fun at MagicCon meeting everyone. Yeah. We had a lot of people come up and say hi, ask to get stuff signed. It was really awesome. What a special experience that is.
I think I signed somebody's Glinthorn my first 10 minutes in the con hall, and I love that. That was lovely. I love signing Glinthorns.
So we really appreciate all the support. It means the world to us.
Yeah.
We could do this without an audience, but man, would it be not as fun. So it's really cool to see how much this has meant to everybody and that our little baby's taking off.
Yeah.
So thank you, everyone. We'll see you guys next week.